HubSpot makes impossible growth impossibly easy for their customers. And here's the perfect example. Morehouse College needed to reach new students with fresh, engaging content. But with a massive 900-page website, even the tiniest updates took 30 minutes to publish. Breeze, HubSpot's collection of AI tools, helped them write and optimize their content in a fraction of the time. The results? 30% more page views, and visitors now spend 27% more time on their site. If you're ready for impossible growth like this, you can visit HubSpot.com. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, July 16th. I'm Jon Weigell, trying to get into a lockbox at Target, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Target stock has plummeted 61% since 2021. Store traffic is declining weekly, and the company that once made suburban moms feel like they were shopping at Target is struggling to figure out what it really stands for. So what went wrong, and how is Target missing the mark? We'll get to all that in a minute, but first, let's give you the news in business and tech. Kicking us off today, Sirius XM, the satellite radio company dependent on ad-free subscriber revenue, is launching a cheaper plan with ads called Sirius XM Play. It'll be available on a limited basis until a larger rollout at the end of 2025, and it'll be priced at less than $7 per month if you like the ads on your satellite radio. Next, Disney Imagineers made a Walt Disney animatronic for Disneyland's Walt Disney A Magical Life experience opening this week. The walking, talking robot tells Disney's story and even has a twinkle in his eye thanks to the replication of a corneal bulge. The real Walt Disney died in 1966, and rumors of his frozen head being at Disney headquarters have not ceased since then. Now, let's get into the pharmaceuticals industry. Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol, ousted its CEO, Thibaut Mongon, as part of a strategic review to, quote, simplify the company's portfolio and how it operates. Kind of weird hearing those words used in removing a CEO rather than a CEO using them to cut 15% of a workforce, but I guess I'm here for it. And finally here, paid subscribers of Super Grok, the premium subscription tier of xAI's Grok, can now access chatbot companions. They include a cute cartoon red panda and an anime goth girl named Annie, who apparently comes with an NSFW mode in which she wears lingerie. Thank you, Grok. And if you like those headlines, everybody, for more updates like that, you can subscribe to the show, and we'll have a lot more for you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But today, we're diving into a story that hits close to home for millions of Americans. It's the fall of Target. That's right, we're talking about Target. Something's gone wrong in the red bullseye kingdom, and it's not just about the economy. Because Target shares have plummeted about 61% since their all-time high in late 2021, and the company's annual revenue has stagnated for 4 straight years. Store traffic has also been declining. Consumers are complaining about empty shelves and messy stores, not to mention the lockbox diligently guarding my toothpaste, and the company just rolled back its diversity initiatives after getting caught in America's culture wars. So, yikes, what happened to the retailer that turned big box shopping into an experience? Let's find out. First, the numbers. At its July 2021 peak, Target's market cap catapulted to about $129 billion. Today, it has tumbled down to about $47 billion. And that's not just a rough patch. That's a company losing more than half of its value. And it's not just the stock price. Target said in May that it expects sales to fall this year after annual revenue has been basically flat since 2021. Compare that to the pandemic boom when Target's annual sales jumped more during fiscal year 2020 than its total sales growth over the prior 11 years. The CEO isn't immune to the pain either. Target CEO Brian Cornell's pay declined 45% to $9.9 million in 2024. That's down from his compensation peak of $77.5 million in 2020. So when executive pay drops that dramatically, you know the company is not hitting its performance targets well. But don't worry, there's some more here. Store traffic for Target has declined year over year nearly every week since the week of January 27th, which is days after the company's DEI announcement, according to Placer.ai, an analytics firm that tracks foot traffic. Target traffic has been up weekly year over year in the 4 weeks before that. Now, correlation obviously isn't causation, but that timing is pretty striking. The only exceptions were the 2 weeks on either side of Easter when traffic rose less than 1% year over year. A sign that Target's strategy of driving sales with holiday and seasonal merchandise still has some life left in it for sure. So what exactly is happening inside Target stores? Well, if you shopped there recently, you might have noticed some changes, and not the good kinds. Multiple former employees told CNBC that Target's store standards have slipped in recent years as the company has tried to juggle online and in-store businesses with a leaner store staff. The result? Items being out of stock, longer checkout lines, messier aisles, and fewer employees on the floor. My personal Target, right around the corner from here, got rid of its self-checkout a year and a half ago, and the systems have not recovered since then. The lines are crazy. But it's not just a customer perception of degrading service and lackluster offerings. No. Target held or gained market share in 15 of its 35 merchandise divisions in the first quarter. Put another way, it lost ground in the majority of categories that it sells. That's not exactly the performance you'd expect from a company that once turned discount retail into an art form. The inventory problems are real, too. In the most recent quarter, Target said inventory was up 11% year over year, and its profits took a hit from markdowns and canceled orders. Translation? They're buying too much of the wrong stuff and having to sell at a big loss. Now, let's talk about what made Target special in the first place, because understanding what they've lost is key to understanding their current struggle. Target's genius was turning discount retail into an experience. Through word of mouth and social media, Target's name became synonymous with fashion-forward finds for less. The retailer's creative approach to merchandise, including exclusive brands and limited-time collaborations with fashion designers, sparked stories of shoppers who went to the store for one item, but, left with a basket full of stuff they didn't know they wanted, like every Target trip I've ever taken. That's the magic of Target, a nickname that evoked French high fashion applied to Minnesota-based big box store. Target turned its giant stores into mall-like experiences where suburban shoppers could, order a Starbucks coffee and spend hours browsing aisles for lipstick, throw pillows, deodorant, new outfits, pretty much anything. But that magic seems to be fading. Retail consultant Stacy Widlitz put it pretty bluntly, quote, "They're not as edgy as before." Yeah, Target's brand collaborations haven't seemed as exciting, and they're partnering with weaker brands than they did in the past. For example here, Target launched a collection in the spring with Parachute, a direct-to-consumer bedding and bath company that shuttered some of its stores as it faced financial difficulties. They also announced a new line with Champion, a sportswear brand it previously dropped from its stores, and even their recent Kate Spade collection, which Target called its strongest limited-time designer partnership in a decade, didn't launch unscathed. Some shoppers poked fun at items in social media posts, including Kate Spade branded black and cream garbage bags, priced at $10, who would ever. The competition isn't sleeping either. Walmart, for example, has launched more fashion-forward private brands, including a new clothing and accessory brand called Weekend Academy for tweens. It's also added more items to Better Goods, a grocery brand with trendier flavors and colorful packaging that's reminiscent of Target's Good and Gather line, if you've seen that. And it's all working. After customers churned from Target, about half made their next purchase at Walmart, and about 30% made the next 3 purchases at Walmart, according to Indigari, a data analytics firm. Newer entrants like Chinese-owned Shein and Temu have also taken market share, with the percentage of Target customers who are shopping with Shein in the same quarter rising from about 5% in early 2021 to nearly 10% in early 2025. But maybe the biggest challenge Target faces is that it got caught in America's culture wars twice. And for a company that built its brand on being progressive and inclusive, this has been particularly damaging. In 2023, Target pulled some merchandise from its Pride line, an annual collection that it sold for more than a decade, after it said employees faced safety threats. Then in January 2025, just days after Trump signed executive orders to end similar programs in the government, Target rolled back major DEI initiatives. The timing wasn't exactly coincidental. Target also donated $1 million to the Trump Inauguration Fund, and that's its first donation to a presidential inauguration in at least a decade. For a company that had been vocal about diversity and inclusion, this was a dramatic change. The backlash was swift and personal. For the first time in about 2 decades, there was no Target float in the Twin Cities Pride Parade this June. Twin Cities Pride, the nonprofit that throws the parade in Target's hometown, cut ties with Target after the DEI rollback. The organization's executive director, Andy Otto, said Target used to give about $50,000 per year to the nonprofit, and it was one of its biggest donors. So, what's next for Target? Well, the company's trying to bounce back with several key changes. In May, Target announced it was starting an enterprise acceleration office to speed innovation and rev up sales, led by Chief Operating Officer Michael Fidelki, who is considered a potential successor to CEO Brian Cornell. Cornell is 66 years old, and his contract is winding down after agreeing to stay 3 more years in September of 2022. The company hasn't disclosed when that contract expires or named his successor, but Fidelki seems to be the heir apparent. The timing is crucial because Target faces some serious headwinds. Trump's tariffs are not helping here. Roughly half of Target's merchandise is imported, and Cornell has warned of massive potential costs due to tariffs, though he says price hikes would be a very last resort, I'm sure. Target's leaders are trying to stay optimistic. The company is investing in store renovations and plans to open 300 more locations over the next 10 years. Cornell said the company is built for long-term profitable growth, boosted by its store fleet, growing digital businesses, and brand partnerships. But the challenges are real and deep, as we've talked about. Target's digital sales rose from about $6.8 billion in 2020 to nearly $21 billion in 2025, a more than 200% jump. But that growth has created its own problems, with stores struggling to balance serving in-person customers while fulfilling these online orders. Here's the thing that really gets me, though, about Target's situation. They're not just facing typical retail challenges like competition or economic headwinds. So is Walmart, They're facing an identity crisis at the core of this. Target customers have such strong feelings about the retailer that emotional ties have amplified reactions to the company's decisions. When you build a brand on being progressive and inclusive and then you pull back from those positions, you're not just losing customers, you're losing some of your believers. The numbers bear this out really well. Barclays retail analyst Seth Sigman found that Target appears to be losing some of its most loyal customers. His analysis showed a more pronounced drop among people who historically shopped at Target more than 8 times per year. Those are your diehard fans, and they're walking away. So can Target recover? History suggests that it's possible. Cornell took over as CEO in 2014 after a massive data breach compromised the personal information of 110 million people. The company bounced back from that crisis, but this feels just a bit different. Looking at this from 10,000 feet, the retail landscape is more competitive than ever, with Walmart getting more fashionable, Amazon dominating convenience, and new players like Shein and Temu offering trendy items at very, very low prices, pending some tariffs. Target's challenge isn't just operational, though, it's existential. They need to figure out what Target stands for in 2025. Are they a discount retailer focused on price, a lifestyle brand focused on design, a progressive company focused on inclusion? Right now, it's not very clear, and that confusion is reflected in their declining traffic and stagnant sales. The good news is that Target still has incredible assets. They got prime real estate, a strong digital platform, and a brand that, despite recent struggles, still has enormous recognition and goodwill. But they need to decide what they want to be when they grow up, again. Because right now, Target feels like a company that's missing the mark, pun intended. And in retail, if you don't know who you are, your customers definitely will not know. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got so much more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up to that at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We'll catch you tomorrow. Okay, look, side hustles fail when they consume all of your time. I mean, every single bit of it. The pros, though, work smarter with AI doing all the heavy lifting. To help you out, we just dropped the Side Hustle Accelerator database. You can search your exact problem for your side hustle, grab the perfect prompt, and get results. If you're struggling with marketing, content, and customer service, it's all solved in just seconds. This isn't just another tool, guys. It's your unfair advantage in a spreadsheet. So stop asking AI the wrong questions and start scaling with what actually works. You can get it for free in the link in our show notes. And you can stop right now, actually. Why don't you take a look down at those show notes and tap the link? You don't want to sleep on this.